Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video on Balboa. In this video, I'll be teaching you guys how to make profit while trading in anime defenders. If you guys end up enjoying the video, like and subscribe to the channel. My current goal is 35,000 subscribers. Also join my Discord and Twitch. Both of those will be linked inside the description. I'll be doing giveaways and stuff in both of those. But yeah, without further ado, let's just get right into it. All right, so my first tip is for anyone that's watching this and is broke. Literally no items, no nothing. They have nothing. They just want to trade. Stop trying to trade and go farm the game, go macro or do whatever, get gems, and then come back to this video. That is going to be my first tip. If you aren't already a little bit rich, I wouldn't say rich, but if you don't have like at least some mythicals or something with a decent amount of gems, I would say just click off this video and come back when you do have that, because you literally won't be able to trade unless if you already have stuff. That's just how it works. It's unfortunate that's how it works, but that is how it works. So come back to this video once when you have some items. Okay, so now for the rest of you guys, if you have like, if your inventory is worth like 100k, 200k, this is where the tips actually start. All right, so the first tip, this is the absolute best tip that I can give you, is know exactly what you are looking for or what you want, or whatever it might be, whatever trade you want, whatever you want to buy with gems, whatever it might be. Know your price or know your trade before you actually go into it, and don't accept anything else other than that price. Unless if it is something literally impossible to get, then I would say stick to your price and don't fold under pressure. That is probably my number one tip. I'll show you guys what I did. Okay, so yesterday, if you guys weren't inside my stream, I had a Requiem Hikari and an Almighty Idris. That is all that I had. A decent amount, a lot of value, but I wanted Almighty Hikari and of a slightly better Idris. So this is what I traded my Almighty Idris for. Okay, so you guys can see I still had the Requiem Hikari, but I did trade my Almighty Idris for 4 normal ones and 2 with SSS stats and Requiem. Now that was an insane deal, and I only got it because how long it took. I actually took like 4 hours to find a trade like that. Just spamming the Discord server. You guys can see the Discord server. Now a lot of people in here are very stupid. You literally just have the same copy and paste. I would just steal someone else's copy and paste and change it to your own, and then literally just boom, spam, spam, spam. If you don't have rare lounge, that's fine. Just spam as much as you can and wait until someone DMs you. Once when someone DMs you, if it's not an offer that you like, if it's not an offer that makes you profit or anything like that, simply don't take it, because eventually you will find one that will give you profit. Basically, it's just a waiting game. That is probably the number one thing, is just be patient. Don't instantly accept the first offer that's given to you, unless if it's insane. If it's an insane first offer and you just got really lucky and someone really stupid DM'd you, then take it. But I would personally say know what you want. So for example, if you have like an Almighty Sunjin Wu and you really want like Almighty Idris and like a normal Hikari, and that's what you want and you don't want anything other than that, wait until you find that trade, because eventually someone will probably DM you and trade that. Because I believe that's actually like a fair trade. I think. I don't really know. Another thing is to learn the market. That is probably the actual most important thing, is learn the market value. Know what things are worth in trades. Learn what things are worth in gems. Learn what they're worth in terms of items. Just learn what they're worth, pretty much. I'll give you guys a kind of quick rundown of the market. This is at the current moment of recording this video, but basically like the most expensive thing right now that isn't shiny is going to be Almighty Idris. I believe Almighty Idris is technically the most expensive thing, unless if we're talking shinies, then it's probably like shiny Almighty Idris or shiny Almighty Sunjin Wu. But for normal non-shinies, Almighty Idris I believe is the most valued thing inside the game at the moment. With that being said, you can easily trade an Almighty Hikari for an Almighty Idris if you find the right person. It's just really like whoever you're trading. If they really want Hikari, then they'll probably trade their Almighty Idris for it, even though Almighty Idris is worth more. But in terms of Idris value, Idris is kind of like the base value in this game right now. He's kind of like 300-ish K. So 300K, 250K around is his value. I would say the most that you can sell him for is probably 350K. The cheapest that you can buy him for is around 200K. But yeah, most of the time you'll find 300K. But yeah, Idris is kind of the base value in the game right now. So Idris, I would say an Almighty Hikari is 3 normal Idrises. Okay, so like around 800, 900K-ish value. So just kind of have these numbers in your head. Almighty Darp is like 400k. You can probably buy one for like 300, 200k if you're really lucky. Just basically anything that is a good mythical or a good secret with Almighty is instantly like insane value. There is some that you are going to have to avoid though. For example, Warrior Princess, Natsu, anything that is, I believe, 3 or more placements, you want Requiem on. You don't want Almighty, which actually works out in a lot of people's favors because Almighty is still more expensive. Like Almighty Natsu is definitely more expensive than Requiem Natsu, but Requiem Natsu is better. So, you know, keep that in mind when you're trading. Just because something is more expensive doesn't necessarily mean that it is better. But yeah, kind of just learn the market. Learning the market's actually the most important thing, and then knowing what you want to trade for. So, for example, once again, I had Requiem Hatari and I had Almighty Idris, and I knew that I wanted Almighty Hatari and Almighty Idris, and I knew that I could trade for it very easily, but I had to get a really good deal on my Idris. I had to get around like 1.2, 1.3 million-ish value for my Idris, which is kind of hard to come by. Like normally people's offers are like 800k value. So I had to get like 500k extra value, and that's what I did. I traded my Almighty Idris for 4 normal Idrises, and 2 were Requiem Evo'd with really good stats. I got really lucky with that trade though. You can get a trade with like that, but you will definitely be sitting there for a while. That's why I said patience is probably the #1 thing for trading. But kind of just know what you want to trade for and know the market. That's what I can say for sure you need to know before you even start trading in this game. But now for cheap items. So things like, you know, just good mythicals, things like that, you're just going to want to sell them. You're literally just going to want to put up your booth, boom. You guys can see how many donut warriors I'm selling, and literally just have them there and kind of AFK sit inside your lobby and pray that someone sells them. If you don't have a lot of gems, if you don't have a lot of stuff in general, then you will literally just want to do something like this, set up your thing, and sit here and wait for them to sell. That is what you guys are going to want to do. Put them for the lowest price. If you have a bunch of mythicals, just put them on there, put them for 7k, and boom, just sit there and wait, because that is kind of what you are forced to do. I'm not going to lie. At least until you have like 50k, 60k. Once when you have 50 or 60k, then you can try to snipe a really good trait on a decent mythical. So for things like this, I would look for like a Requiem Elf Hero. I would look for a Requiem Natsu. I would look Almighty Darp. Realistically, I don't think you can get for that cheap. Unless if you are trading with an absolute like, oh, they would have to be super stupid to sell you an Almighty Darp for like 50k. But it's possible. Just keep looking. Maybe you'll find one eventually. What you could also do is just find mythicals in general with Almighty. They might be a little bit expensive, but some of them are pretty cheap. Like I believe Almighty Katakuri is pretty cheap. Almighty Warrior Princess is kind of cheap. And if you can just find a really good deal on them, then it might be worth it just to buy it and resell. But keep in mind, like I said, buy for cheap and sell for expensive. So if something's value is 50k to 100k, you are going to want to try to buy it for 50k, maybe even cheaper than 50k, and then actually sell it for 100 or maybe even more. Because that's what I was doing with Idris. Idris I would buy for 220. I'd buy for 220k and I would resell it for like 350k pretty easily. If it took too long to sell for 350k, I would just sell it for 300 and buy another one, and then I would make 70k profit every single time, and it would be super easy. So you kind of just want to buy, resell, buy, resell, buy, resell until you get enough gems to actually buy something really insane like Almighty Idris or something. Like probably 800k gems, 700k gems roughly. And then that's when you can actually buy something insane. It really just depends on what your end goal with this game is. I would say genuinely for most of you guys, I would stop trading after you get one secret, because that's all that you really need. Unless if you're going for leaderboard, unless if you're going to be the strongest person in this game, all that you really need is like some decent mythicals with one secret, and your team is more than fine. You could clear all the content inside this game for a while, and then once when new secrets come out, and like let's say Idris all of a sudden becomes garbage, then try to sell your Idris and try to make some money, and boom, just buy the new ones whenever they come out. For example, my Almighty Hikari, if a better one comes out, I'll probably just try to trade him for the better one with Almighty and some ads, because that is probably what I'll have to do. Because like I said, it is very, very early into the game, so a lot of new items are going to come out, a lot of new characters are going to come out, a bunch of better units, everything's just going to come out. So, you know, your perfect mythical team that you have right now will probably be garbage in like 4 updates, realistically. So just keep that in mind while trading. Don't overpay for something that's considered meta right now, because it could not be meta in like 2 updates. So just keep that in mind while trading. I would say to try to avoid gems and trait rerolls unless if you did a really good deal. I personally like to trade item for item. I just feel like it's overall better. But if you don't really have a lot of items, or if you don't have a secret, if you don't have a good mythical, then it will be pretty hard to do that. So, you know, you can just sell for gems. But I would try to say avoid gems and traits because their values are kind of weird. Trait rerolls, I think if you have 1k, you can pretty much easily get a secret, even though that's not the actual value. Somehow you can still get it because people just value trait rerolls for more. But yeah, like I said, I would literally just go inside a random lobby and AFK sit there, you know, 7k. You might not get a sell. You might get a sell. It's really whatever. If you do get a sell, cool. You get some free gems. If not, still cool. I would say to transfer all your mythicals to one alt account. In my opinion, this is what I would do. The best way, if you want to AFK overnight, I would personally set up a macro, have 1 account in the trade thing, and have 3 accounts actually macroing you gems. And I would say that's probably the best thing. Because then you can just wake up in the morning. If any of your stuff sells, then it would be cool. You guys can see this guy is literally looking at my thing right now. But yeah, you know, if he buys it, cool. He has 800 gems, so he's not going to buy it. But, you know, maybe eventually someone will. So that's kind of what I would personally recommend to do. If you are super broke and, you know, you watch this video anyways, even though I told you not to, I would personally macro for a little bit on 3 accounts and have 1 account just chilling inside the trade thing. I think that is probably the best way that you can go about getting gems early game. But yeah, that's pretty much all my tips. Maybe I'll drop more tips inside the comments if you guys want to ask me something specifically. Like, you know, if you need to trade Idris and you really want something else, just, you know, put it inside the comments and I'll try to answer. But yeah, if you guys ended up enjoying the video, like and subscribe to the channel. Once again, maybe I'll make a follow-up video. Maybe I'll make a video of me actually trading so you guys can see how I personally make profit. And like I said, I will probably be trading on stream as well. But yeah, this is for me. If you guys ended up enjoying the video, like and subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you guys inside the next one. Peace.